Hello everybody, welcome to this session. Today we are going to study third unit. In this third unit you have to study about the design of a spring. In the spring you are having helical spring, torsional spring, leaf spring, and in second part you have to study about the bearings like ball bearing, sliding contact bearing, rolling contact bearing, journal bearing. So these are the syllabus of third unit. So today we are going to study first topic, that is helical spring, design of helical spring. Before going to the study the design of the spring, I just want to give the brief introduction about the spring. What is a spring? Spring is a mechanical element which stores the energy when we are applying the force, when external force is applied, and it will regain its original shape and size, or it will release the energy when we are removing the load. That is the spring. Now what are the use of the springs? So there are many uses. Nowadays we are using for observing shock. We have seen the example like in vehicle, automobile, suspension system, and for storing the energy we are using in watch as storing the energy. The spring is storing the energy and again it is releasing slowly. Now the another use of the spring is to measure the force as a weighing balance, as you have seen, and also we can use the spring as a controlling element which can control the motion after applying the force. Here types of a spring has been shown. In first one you can see this is helical compression spring. The main use of helical compression is to absorb the shock. Second is, you can see here, this is helical tensile spring. In this helical tensile spring, for pulling force to hook type, it will be designed up and down. It is shown here. So we can apply the pulling force. So for wherever we need to store the energy, otherwise we need to control the motion, there we are using this type of spring, helical tensile spring. Here it is the torsional spring. Torsional spring means where a torque is generating. It is generating the torque by applying the force. You can see in this diagram, as here we are applying this tangential force, and then torque it will be given as force, this force applied into the radius, the distance from the center to the force applied. So you will get the torque. So this type of spring is known as torsional spring. Next is this is very, all of you have seen this one. We are using it in automobile, all the vehicles, most of the vehicles. This is leaf spring, semi-elliptical leaf spring. Leaf spring means we are using the leaf as a plates as a leaf, and we are using it for observing the shock. Okay. So one by one in this unit we are going to design all this type of a spring, and but first of all we are going to design a helical spring. So before going to design the helical spring, we should know the terminology of a helical spring. So what are the terms we should know for designing? So let us go. Here you can see in this diagram, here some notations has been given. Here first of all you see this d, small d, that denotes the diameter of the wire of the spring, that is a small d, wire diameter of the spring. Next is di. So di, you can see here this part, di, inner diameter of the spring. Okay. And d naught is outer diameter of the spring. Okay. Since d, it is shown here d, so this d is the mean diameter of the spring, and hence we can calculate the mean diameter of the spring. We can calculate d1, so di plus d naught divided by 2, that is the mean, average. Okay. And other terminology is free length of this spring. Free length means when there is no any force is applied, it is freely kept here, freely kept. Then the total length of the spring, or total vertical length or total axial length, you can say, total axial length of the spring is known as the free length of the spring. Total number of turns are denoted by NT. So NT is the another terminology. We will write NT, total number of turn or total number of coil. Here, as I told in the last slide, free length of the spring, it has been shown here in the first image itself. In this one, when there is no any force is applied, no extra force is applied, then the total axial length of the spring is known as the free length of the spring. In second diagram, you can see when the spring is subjected to the maximum load, then that time the axial length of the spring is called as the compressed length of the spring. Third one is the solid length of the spring. In solid length, when there is no gap between two successive coils, then the axial length of the spring is known as the solid length of a spring. Next term is a spring index. A spring index is denoted by capital C, and capital C formula is capital D divided by small d. Here capital D, you know that is the mean diameter of a spring, and small d is the wire diameter of the spring. So there is no unit for a spring index. Generally in our usual life, we are that spring index is more than 4 and less than 12. If the spring index is less than 3 then or more than 12, the chances of failure is more. So it may get buckle or may get twist. So both of the chances are there. Next, previous slide I was talking about the pitch. Pitch is the distance between axial distance between two successive coils, and the formula for calculating pitch is P is equal to free length of the spring divided by NT minus 1. NT is the total number of turns. One more terminology we will see here. All of you, I hope all of you know that the stiffness of the spring. What is stiffness? All of you know that it is the force required per unit deflection. For unit deflection, how much force is required to deflect for unit deflection of that spring. So that is called the stiffness of the spring, and it is denoted by small k. So we can write small k equal to force applied is P and delta is the deflection for that applied load P. Okay, so k is the stiffness for k is the ratio of the force applied to the deflection for that applied load. And what is the unit? Unit will be Newton per mm. Now let us go to the design of helical spring. Before designing anything, we must know the objective of that object, means what we are going to design of the element. So here we are going to design a spring. There are three objectives of designing the helical spring. First is it should have sufficient strength to withstand the externally applied load. Second, it should have the enough stiffness value, means load deflection characteristics. And third is it should not buckle under the external applied load. Now, what is the meaning of designing a spring? What we will design in the spring? So the main parts we need to focus, that is what will be the wire diameter, small d, we have seen. What is the mean coil diameter, capital D. What are the number of turns in that spring? So these are the three things we should calculate that. That it is the meaning of design is that only. For calculating that, we have some formula. So let us see the formula. The shear stress developed inside the spring can be calculated by using the formula tau is equal to K into 8 PD by pi dq. And we know that capital D by small d is C, capital C, spring index. So let us replace that as spring index. So it will be K 8 PC divided by pi d square, where K is wall constant, wall factor, P is the externally applied load, C is the spring index, and you know a small d is the wire diameter. Now for calculating this all this term, we will go one by one. So tau is the shear stress developed inside the spring, in the wire of the spring. Then tau can be calculated as shear strength divided by factor of safety. So for factor of safety for a spring, maximum we are taking 1.5 unless it is given. Okay. Then what we are doing, why we are taking 1.5 only here? Because there is chances of failure maximum if it is compressive, it is in compression. Maximum what will happen? All the coil will come together, overlap on each other. But it is not hazardous. So maximum time what we are doing, we are not taking factor of safety more than 1.5. So here we will take factor of safety 1.5. Then tau value can be calculated as SSY by Fs. Tau equal to SSY by Fs. From here you can calculate SSY. You know that shear strength, it can be calculated if it is ultimate strength is given. You can take it as 0.3 of SUT, ultimate strength. If SYT is given, then SSY can be calculated as 0.577 SYT. So this is the empirical relation we are having. So whenever we are, if it is not given, a shear strength is not given, then what we have to take according to the material, ultimate strength will get from the data book, and we will multiply the ultimate strength by 0.3. If yield strength you are having, you can multiply by 0.577, then you can get the shear strength, and after that dividing by factor of safety value, you will get the permissible shear stress or maximum shear stress. If factor of safety is also not given, you can take 1.5. Actually the shear stress value tau, directly you can take, most of the time we are taking tau will be equal to 0.3 of SUT to 0.5 of SUT. We are taking like this. So most commonly according to Indian standard we are taking 0.5 SUT. Now after tau, K value, wall factor. So wall factor can be written as, the wall factor K can be written as 4C minus 1 divided by 4C minus 4 plus 0.615 divided by C, where C is the spring index. It means the wall factor completely depends on the spring constant C. Then after that, next is, you know that P is the load, maximum load, what the load given. C is the spring index, it will be given. K value we have calculated, tau value we have calculated. So what we can do, we can calculate the wire diameter easily. So that is the first step. So first step is to calculate the wire diameter of the spring. After calculating the wire diameter of the spring, we will calculate the mean coil diameter of the spring, and that for that we know that capital D equal to C into small d, because the spring index I told that is capital D by small d. So now a small d we have calculated, so we can calculate the capital D value, mean coil diameter, that is capital C into small d. After calculating the mean coil diameter of the spring, we will calculate the number of active coil of the spring. So for calculating the number of active coil of the spring, we have one formula, delta is equal to APDQN by G d power 4. Here delta is the deflection due to load P, D you know that mean coil diameter, N is the number of active turn, number of active coil, G is the modulus of rigidity of the spring material, D is the wire diameter. After calculating number of active coil by this formula, that is capital N, we need to finalize the end condition of the spring, and there are 4 end conditions we are having for a helical spring. First is plain end, second is plain grounded one, grounding, we are grounding it, third is a square end, and next is a square grounded end. So there are some conditions for that, you just go for that. Here we will finalize the type, which type we need according to the application, and then we will calculate the total number of turn, NT. Total number of turn, NT we will calculate. After calculating the total number of turn, NT, we have to calculate the solid length of the spring, and the solid length of the spring we can calculate as NT into D, where NT is the total number of coil, total number of turn, and D is the wire diameter. So this will give us the solid length of the coil. Now since NT is not the fraction, it is not in fraction, it will be integer. So the actual deflection, again we have to calculate the actual deflection. Actual deflection we can calculate APDQN by G d power 4. Again we will use this formula and we will calculate the actual deflection of the spring. Next step is, after calculating the deflection, actual deflection, we will calculate the total axial gap. Total axial gap. For calculating this, total axial gap will be NT minus 1 into gap between the adjacent coils. Gap between adjacent coils. So the gap between two coils, what is the gap? Usually we are taking this gap between two adjacent coil is 0.5 mm to 2 mm. So you can take anything. Otherwise total axial gap, we are taking the 15% of the maximum deflection. 15% of the maximum deflection, that we can take it as total axial gap. Okay. So after calculating the total axial gap, we can go for calculating the free length of the spring, and the free length can be calculated as solid length plus total axial gap, total axial gap plus deflection, that is delta. So this is the formula for calculating the free length of the spring. Now after calculating the free length of the spring, we will give the pitch of the spring. We will calculate the pitch of the spring. Pitch of the spring can be calculated as a small p, that is equal to free length divided by NT minus 1. Free length divided by NT minus 1, that is the pitch of the coil. And next we will calculate, next and last we will calculate the spring rate of the rate of the spring, that is denoted by K. GD power 4 divided by 8 dqn. So this is the formula to calculate the rate of the spring. So these are the design steps to calculate the spring, helical spring. Again I will repeat, the first step is to use the formula tau to calculate the diameter d. So first step to calculate the diameter d by using all these things. In that one we need to calculate K value, wall factor will calculate this, that is capital K equal to 4c minus 1 divided by 4c minus 4 plus 0.615 divided by c. So we'll get this wall factor capital K. After calculating this K, you will calculate this small d. Then we'll calculate the mean coil diameter, that is equal to capital C into d. After that we will calculate the number of active turn, that is n, and for calculating that we know the formula deflection delta is equal to 8 p dqn by capital G into d power 4. After the calculating that number of active turn, we will calculate the solid length of the spring, that is equal to nt into d. So for calculating the nt, we need to check whether the end condition, means end condition what you are taking. You can assume plane end, plane grounded end, and a square end, a square grounded end. So these are the 4 end conditions. From there you can select any one type of end conditions according to your application, and then you can calculate the nt value. Okay, so after that solid length will be nt into d. Then after that we have to calculate again the actual deflection. Here same formula will use, whatever we have used here, 8 pdq into n divided by gd power 4. And after calculating the actual deflection, total axial gap, we will calculate total axial gap formula is nt minus 1 total number of turn minus 1 into the gap between adjacent coils, means gap between 2 successive coils. And generally gap between 2 successive coils we are taking 0.5 to 2 mm, or total axial gap directly we are taking the 15% of the maximum deflection delta. Okay, now free length can be calculated as solid length plus the total axial gap plus the maximum deflection. Okay, after calculating the free length of the spring, we will calculate the pitch of the spring. Pitch of the spring is denoted by small p, and it can be calculated as free length divided by nt minus 1. And after calculating the pitch of the spring, we will calculate the rate of the spring, that is denoted by small k, and we can calculate it as gd power 4 divided by 8 dqn. Correct? So this is the complete design procedure of a helical spring. That's all for today class. Again we will meet in next lecture. Thank you very much.